Sawadee-kap. Hello and welcome to Daily Wisdom, Walking the Path with the Buddha. Today is our group learning program, and on Wednesdays we're doing guided breathing mindfulness meditation or loving kindness meditation. We're rotating these back and forth as I'm helping students to build up their meditation practice. So I'd like to welcome all of you, whether you're joining through Facebook, YouTube, Zoom, or any of the other places that you might be listening to this content, whether it's on our podcast or somewhere else. Welcome to all of you guys, and I'd like to invite you to join for a breathing mindfulness meditation session. On each Sunday in this program, we study this book, Developing a Life Practice, The Path That Leads to Enlightenment. It's part of the Words of the Buddha book series, and you can download this for free from our website, buddhadailywisdom.com. You can take it and go print it. You can order printed versions on Amazon, or you can get those also here at the temple in Chiang Mai. So each Sunday I'm going chapter by chapter. And this Sunday coming up, I'm going to be in chapter 13, helping students to learn that particular content. So you're welcome to read that chapter before and or after class. And this is a 7-month program where we meet each Sunday and Wednesday, and I'm helping students to develop a foundation or a framework of the path to enlightenment and developing their life practice. So meditation is part of that. So you're welcome to join for meditation, and then afterwards, if you have any questions on the path to enlightenment, you're welcome to ask any and all questions by putting those into Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom. Or in Zoom, you can raise your hand electronically and ask any questions or follow-up questions that you like. I'm going to start with chanting to ease us into meditation. These chants, they aren't a rite or ritual, ceremony, or worship. There are no prayers or anything like that. Instead, it's just to help ease the mind into meditation and ease the mind out of meditation. The chanting that the Buddha did during his lifetime was to help students to commit the teachings to memory, because everything that he taught was oral. So he used chanting as a way to help them remember his teachings. Every 2 weeks, they would recite his teachings. But I use it to help ease the mind into meditation and get more benefit out of the meditation itself by invigorating the mind and bringing some awareness to the mind and awareness to the breath. Once we get into meditation, I will provide some guidance on meditation. Then there'll be a period of time where we'll just be meditating together. And then we'll come out of the meditation with some more chanting, and that's where I'll open up to any questions that you like. There's seated, lying, standing, and walking positions for breathing mindfulness meditation. You can take any of those positions that you like. The seated, lying, and standing tend to work really well for online learning. If you're seated, you might be sitting on the floor or in a chair or something like this. On the floor, you might put some cushions under your rear. This gets the hips up in the air, lessens the angle at the hips, the knees, and the ankles, and allows the circulation to flow. The hands and the arms, the Buddha put his right hand over his left with his thumbs together, and he put this into his lap. And if that's comfortable for you, you could use that. But this isn't about everybody doing it exactly the same. Some people might decide to put their palms on their thighs or their knees or even their palms up. So if you'd like to chant along, you're welcome to join in the chanting. I'm going to do the chanting, and then afterwards I'll provide some guidance. You might just decide to breathe in through the nose and out through the nose with the eyes closed if you're not going to be doing chanting. And keep in mind that you'd like your upper body to be nice and erect. This keeps the mind attentive and alert during the meditation. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Mahakawa Bhutang Mahakavanhang Apivateyami Savakhato Mahakavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Mahakavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa นะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะอิติปิโสมะภะคะวะอะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธวิชาจารณังสัมมุโนสกขาโตโรกาวิโตอนุเตโรปุริสาดัมมาสติสัตตาตาวามนุสนังโหโตภาควาติ Okay, with the lower body and hands and arms comfortable, and the upper body erect, just close the eyes and start breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Here you're just looking to establish the breath, a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath, not forced or controlled, just a gradual inhale through the nose, experiencing the full breath. And then when you're ready, exhale out through the nose. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. Your breath may not match up with the guidance that I'm providing, and that's okay. This is your practice. I'm just here for guidance. So whenever you get to the next inhale, you can use this voice as a reminder to breathe in naturally through the nose, establishing a nice, natural, steady, consistent breath. And then, whenever you're ready, exhale out through the nose. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the breath well established, start fixating the mind on the breath, either the sound of the breath coming into the nose or the sensation of air moving over the skin into the nose. The breath is the present moment. Fixate the mind on the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. With the mind fixated on the breath, whenever you notice that the mind moves off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. No need to observe the thought, label it, judge it, analyze it, or even try to figure out where it's coming from. Whenever you notice that the mind is moved off the breath, cut that off, let it go, and come back to the breath, the present moment. Breathing in and out. Breathing in and out. I'm going to be quiet now and let you do this work, focusing on the breath, cutting off and letting go anytime the mind moves off the breath. You have nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. No one needs you right now. This is your time to focus on the breath. Breathing in and out. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Bhutang Bhagavanang Abhivateyami Sakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti piso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vichacharanang Sammuno Sakato Rokavitu Anutero Purisa Dhamma Sati Satatawa Manusanang Bhutto Bhagavati. If you guys would like to slowly make your way out of meditation, I'm going to open up our class to any and all questions that you guys have, whether you would like to ask those in Facebook, YouTube, or Zoom. You can put those into the comment section, and I'll be able to see those and answer your questions. If you would like to ask your questions directly in Zoom, you can electronically raise your hand and ask any questions or follow-up questions that you like. I see, Tonka, you have, if you'd like to go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, thank you, teacher. I was wondering if you can help me with one event that I had. I'm not sure if it's wholesome or unwholesome, or if there would be karma effect for this one. It's just not very clear. I don't know if you are aware of Amazon Prime memberships.
Mm-hmm.
So if December, Christmas is coming, I was buying a lot of things on Amazon. Usually I don't. My daughter has Amazon Prime membership, so if I need something, I send her a link and she buys it for me, because that way delivery is faster and it's free and there is all those perks. But because I don't really use it much, I'm just using my daughter's Amazon Prime. She purchases maybe a few times in a year. But this month, they were offering me to try Amazon Prime for free for a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, because I'm buying so much, instead of bothering my daughter, I'm going to take that membership Prime as a trial. It was offered, like it was given. It's not that I took something that wasn't given. But because my intention was once I buy everything I planned for Christmas, I'm going to just cancel it. So I'm not very clear if I didn't steal anything, but my intention was at the very beginning to cancel it after the free trial. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if I did something wrong there. Like, it's just not clear to me.
Sure. So in this situation, a company has made an offer and they said, hey, try this for free for 30 days. And if you like it, you can keep it and we'll bill you. Or if you don't like it, you can cancel it and there's no charge. So they're making you an offering. They've offered something to you. And you said, okay, well, I accept your offer. And now I'm going to use it for a week or two or however long you're using it. And then I've canceled it. So there's no unwholesome karma here, because you haven't done anything that would be unwise and produce unwholesome karma. So the way that you can see this on your own is not just by believing what I say, but you can see the results of your decisions, that you made a decision and you intended to open it and then close it after you were done. That was your intention from the very beginning. And then when you did that, you see that there hasn't been anything unwholesome that's come back to you. That the company hasn't knocked on your door and said, hey, where's our money? They haven't, blocked you from their service. There hasn't been anything unwholesome that's happened. The only thing that's happening is your mind's trying to figure out whether this was wise or unwise, and is it going to produce wholesome or unwholesome karma. So you can see that there isn't any unwholesome result or unwholesome karma that has come back to you as a result of this. So that's where you can use karma as the most unbiased teacher, that it's going to show you whether you made a wise or unwise decision by the result. And the result is that you're experiencing here is you got free shipping for however many weeks or this month, and it was faster than normal, and there hasn't been any unwholesome result that's come back from this decision. So you can see that there was nothing unwise that you chose to do, because you didn't steal. You didn't take something that wasn't given. This was an offer that was made, and you accepted the offer.
The reason I thought there was unwholesome karma is that my mind was disturbed with that. Like, I was thinking, maybe that's unwholesome karma because my mind is disturbed. Why am I disturbed with this decision? Because I had intention to cancel it from the very get-go. So I thought because it was coming back to me through my unsettling mind.
This is just from the unknowing of true reality, the ignorance, right? The craving, anger, and ignorance, because you lacked wisdom of the natural law of karma. So you weren't quite sure, and you probably had a bit of a craving to figure out, was this wholesome or was this unwholesome? And that's why the discontentedness was arising. But now that you understand it and you see the wisdom, perhaps, maybe you need to reflect on it a little bit more, you can see nothing unwholesome's come back to you. And I am very familiar with this because I've done the same thing as you. I've actually done it twice. There was a time about maybe 6 months or a year ago where I opened up a membership. Well, I was ordering something for my grandmother in America, and they made the offer 30 days free. And I was like, okay, well, I can pay $12 for shipping, or I can do this for free, and she's going to get it faster. But I know I don't order things on Amazon, so I know I'm not going to continue it. So sure, I'll open your membership for this one package. And then I opened it, and then I canceled it right afterwards. And then about a month ago, and they know I canceled it about a year ago. And then about a month ago, I was ordering something else for her, and they did the same thing. They made me this offer, and I was like, okay, well, I'll accept your offer, and then I'll cancel it right away because I don't have any regular packages that I'm going to be using through Amazon. So the company knows when they make an offer like this, that there's going to be some people who stick around and some people who don't. And they also know that there's going to be people like this that just open it for one shipment and then close it. So this is something that they factor into their costs and something that they factor into everything that they're doing. So they wouldn't make that offer of 30 days for free if they wouldn't have already calculated all of those things and made sure that they are making an offering for marketing that would be wise and helpful for their company. Another example that I'm sure you've encountered before is, say, and you can relate it to this, is say you go into a grocery store and they have different, grape juices in little sample cups. When you go over to take that little sample cup, you don't even know what it tastes like. You don't know if you'll ever buy this product ever, but they're offering the sample because that's their generosity. They're practicing generosity without any expectation of anything in return. That's what they should be practicing if they're practicing pure generosity. So they're making this offer of, here, taste our fruit juice. Here's a little cup. And now you taste it and you're like, okay, that was good, but I'm not going to buy any. So it's the same thing that when Amazon is making this offer, they're practicing generosity, and now you're accepting their generosity. And if they're practicing pure generosity, they have no expectation of anything in return. And that's why they're giving you 30 days to use it for free. And you haven't done anything unwise here that's going to produce unwholesome results.
Okay, so it was ignorance, not knowing what is right, what is wrong, that caused all this unsettlement in my mind.
Well, it was craving that caused it. Was the ignorant, because of ignorance, craving and anger continues in the mind. So because of your ignorance or unknowing of true reality, your lack of wisdom of the natural law of karma, your mind started craving to know, did I do it right? Did I do it not right? Is it going to produce wholesome karma, unwholesome karma? The mind starts being worried about this because this craving is arising. And now that you have the wisdom that you know, now you can learn that wisdom, you can reflect on it, and now you can eliminate your craving and realize, like, okay, I handled things well. And this is one of the ways to eliminate a craving, is by fulfilling it. So there's going to be a lack of wisdom that is oftentimes going to produce cravings in the mind. And now that craving is going to lead to some discontentedness, which is what you experienced.
So craving was for knowing what is right and what is wrong?
It sounds like it, yeah. It sounds like that was your craving. And you were longing, yearning, like, did I do this right? Did I not do it right? I'm not sure. It wasn't excessive, right? When we usually talk about craving, we talk about it in the extreme. But there's actually a whole spectrum of craving. There's the real extreme, oh my God, I got to do this right now, and I'm just going to die if I don't do this, and the mind becomes obsessed, right? But then there's a whole nother side to the spectrum where it's just like, yeah, I just really would like to know this, and man, I'm just kind of like tossing it over in my mind. If you've ever laid in bed at night kind of tossing things over in your mind, this is because of craving and clinging. It's not the extreme one that I talk about with like longing and yearning and obsession and thinking the next new shiny object waiting around the corner is going to provide lasting satisfaction. I use that definition to really illustrate what craving, desire, attachment is. But then what you start to understand is there's this whole spectrum. There's the extreme, but then there's the lighter things like what you're experienced here. It's just like, man, I really would like to know this. This is kind of bothering me here. So there's a craving in the mind to know, did I do this well or did I not do this well? Did I do this wisely or unwisely? What's going to happen to me here? Am I going to experience unwholesome results or what?
Okay, thank you very much. I have one more question, if it's okay.
Yeah, one thing I'll share before you answer that is, if you look at dependent origination, which is in volume 5, chapter 14, that's where the Buddha talks about ignorance and volitional formations, which leads to consciousness, and the 6 sense bases, contact, and so forth and so on. And you go all the way down, you can see how ignorance leads to craving, right? And then the opposite of ignorance is to arise wisdom. So once you get wisdom, that's how you can extinguish your cravings. So before, you just had a knowing of true reality about this particular thing, and that's what was causing this craving to arise. But now, when you antidote that with wisdom, that's when you can extinguish the craving. So you can see through your own direct experience that what the Buddha is sharing in dependent origination is 100% the truth. And sometimes when you're having an experience like this, it's kind of good to go revisit a teaching like that, so you can like track it and see how your mind did exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, so the ignorance would cause bad decisions, like volitional formation. So you, like, through ignorance, we make bad decisions, and then everything else comes. Yeah, I understand that part. Yeah, it's a big relief. Like, I don't know why it bothered me so much. I guess I'm trying to pay attention to every smallest event that's happening in order to understand it better. And
yeah, 2 things here for you, Tonka. is you do know what caused this. You do know why this happened. You didn't know before we talked, but you know now. Why did your mind do this?
Yeah, I didn't think it was craving. I understood that was I don't like not knowing. That is for sure. When I'm not sure what's the right thing to do, it seems to be the worst place for me.
So you want to know always,
I want to know.
permanently.
Yes.
That's the craving, right? That's the longing, the yearning, the craving, the expectation. I want to always know everything of what's going on. So
because how else do we do the right thing? Because ignorance is the first thing, right?
Right, but you would like to learn and cultivate wisdom as a goal, objective, or interest, and understand that there's not going to be like what you and I talked about in private message earlier, where I said, was this a craving? Right? It's like, I want to know right now. I want to know right now. That's the craving that you have, right? So you'll need to let that go. So you do know. What causes discontentedness? What's the cause of discontentedness?
Craving.
Craving, right?
Craving, desire.
So whenever your mind's discontent, there's going to be some craving, desire, attachment, and you just need to identify what that is. Okay, so
100% all the time.
100% all the time. You can't experience discontentedness if there isn't a craving. Once you eliminate all your cravings, there's no discontentedness whatsoever. So whenever discontentedness arises, it's alerting you there's some craving in your mind. It's like a red light on the dashboard of your car. That's what the discontentedness is like. If you're driving your car and you see a red light on the dashboard, you're like, whoa, something's wrong with this car. Let me pull over and look. So the same thing is true when you see discontentedness. This is the light saying, hey, pull over and take a look. Look inward. What's the cravings here? It's always going to be a craving, desire, attachment. And then the next thing I'll share is what you were saying is like you really would like to know what's kind of like wise and unwise because you have this concern of doing things that are unwise. These are actually two qualities that are really helpful to develop that it sounds like you're developing. And you need these in order to get to enlightenment. It's called moral wrongdoing and moral concern. The Buddha teaches about this, that what moral wrongdoing is where you know what's wise and unwise. And this is what you're developing on the path to enlightenment, is what is wise for me to do, what's going to lead to wholesome results or wholesome karma, and what is unwise and what's going to lead to unwholesome karma. So you've been developing that over the course of your journey to enlightenment, is this moral wrongdoing of what's wise and what's unwise. And you're still in the process of developing that. And then as you're developing that, then what starts to arise is this moral concern. What moral concern is I'm concerned about doing unwise things because I'm not interested in producing any unwholesome karma. I'm only interested in producing wholesome karma, and I don't want to cause harm to other beings. I don't want to make any unwise decisions that's going to produce these unwholesome results. So this is that moral concern that's starting to develop in the mind. So continue to develop your moral wrongdoing, where you're learning what's wise and unwise. Continue to develop that. That's cultivating your wisdom. And then having that moral concern where you're disinterested in causing harm to others, this is very helpful for you, but you just need to be sure that it doesn't move into craving, that you're so worried every time you do something unwise. So just bring it to the middle where you have that concern, you have that motivation to ensure that you're not doing things that are unwise, but you're not allowing it to go into craving, but you're also not allowing it to be the other side, where you're indifferent and you don't care if you affect other people or not. So you're not interested in living on either side of that, where you're worried about your unwise decisions or you're indifferent. You would like to bring it to the middle where you have moral concern, where it's like, hey, I would like to be making these wise decisions because I'm not interested in unwholesome karma anymore. And I'm going to continue to cultivate my moral wrongdoing, understanding wise and unwise. And I'm going to ensure I gradually bring down my unwise decisions so I don't cause impact to others. This is moral concern.
Okay, perfect. So it's all about middle way, finding the middle way.
Exactly. Whenever your mind's on either side of the middle, you're going to be shaken up. If you are craving to never do anything wrong, your mind's going to be shaken up there. But if you are indifferent and complacent and could care less, how you impact others, you're not going to be peaceful and joyful there either. So you bring it to the middle where you have this concern where it's like, you know what, I'd like to do things that are wise and I'm going to work in that direction, but you realize you're a work in progress and you're going to occasionally make decisions that are unwise. And when you do that, you're going to learn from that experience, you're going to cultivate wisdom, and then you're going to move on and do better next time.
Okay, thank you very much. And I have a granddaughter that is just 19 months, and I'm watching her, and it's very interesting to see the craving. Can you hear me, Teacher David?
I can. I'm just walking to get my charger because I realized I didn't plug in my computer.
Should I wait for you?
You can keep talking.
Yeah, so I was watching her, and it's very interesting to see such a young child already having the craving. Like when it comes to food, like if she doesn't like something, she just spits it out, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And also, if you play her a song that she likes. She loves Baby Shark, whatever. If I play to her, she's just more. And then if I don't play it more, she starts crying. And I'm like, my goodness, just 19 months old and already has so much craving. So I was wondering, do we get born with so much craving, and does craving changes throughout the life? Depending on our behaviors, and like how much craving do we bring in as soon as we are born? And then if we feed that craving, then it would make sense it just grows and grows out, like out of proportion. But if we keep cutting it down, it kind of shrinks till it disappears. If we reach that stage of enlightenment. I was just wondering, like, how does it start? Because watching her is so interesting. Like, I'm just amused that there is already so much craving. She just came to be, and she already knows what she wants, and
Okay, this is perfect. This is a great time for you to look at the cycle of rebirth and understand the cycle of rebirth when you're having these observations, because it's craving that leads to the next rebirth. If you die with craving in the mind, that's the cause and condition that's going to lead to the next rebirth. Craving, desire, attachment is what produces discontentedness, but it also is what produces rebirth. So that's why when you eliminate craving, desire, attachment, your mind is peaceful, calm, serene, and content with joy. It's enlightened. And because you've eliminated craving, not only have you eliminated discontentedness, but you've eliminated the causes and conditions that lead to rebirth. So if you die with craving in the mind, then there's going to be rebirth. But if you've already eliminated craving before death, there's no more rebirth. So every single being that is born, it has craving. Because of our previous life, we had craving. So when we died, we had craving, which produced the next consciousness. And now that new consciousness, like your granddaughter, she had a consciousness, and then it ended up in finding this particular physical body in the womb of her mother. And now she had craving from the very beginning because there was craving before her previous life. That's what led to her being reborn now in this life, just like every single one of us. And now when you're in your mom's stomach, it's like, or in the womb, everything's perfect, right? When you're in the womb, it's like you got this umbilical cord hooked up. You're in there all by yourself. It's nice and warm. It's nice and cozy. You can sleep. You can swim around. You got all your food being pumped in on the umbilical cord. Everything's so perfect, right? But then as soon as you go into labor, the woman goes into labor, the baby experiences impermanence, that you were inside in this environment in the womb, and then you come out. That's like your first impermanence pretty much. When you are, in the womb, that's the first big impermanence. And that's why right away, a child, they're discontent right from the very beginning when they enter the world because of their craving. they're immediately experiencing discontentedness because they were craving to be inside their mom's stomach. They had impermanence that occurred and their mind didn't understand impermanence. So right away, because of their craving, they were reborn. Because of their craving, when they come out, they're going to cry. And now this starts the cycle of craving, building, 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 building. So it's common for beings to all have craving when you're born. You wouldn't be reborn if you didn't have craving. So every single being that has been born has had craving from the very beginning, and they have ignorance from the very beginning. We don't have anger, hatred, and ill will. Like, we don't go into the nursery at 1 day old hating other babies. That is what gets developed over time because of our craving and because of our ignorance. We falsely associate the painful feelings that we experience as we're growing to something external. And now we form this ill will, this anger, hatred, and ill will in the mind. So this can help you confirm the cycle of rebirth and what the Buddha talked about in terms of craving leading to rebirth. If you would like, I'll give you some suggestions of what you can do to help your granddaughter now that you're seeing the craving. Mm-hmm. Okay, so since you know she's attached to this music, which is her sense base of the ear, she's got this sound and she's got this pleasurable music, right? So what you would like to do is you understand the 4 foundations of mindfulness, starting to at least the bodily sensations, the feelings, the condition of the mind, the mental objects. You understand craving. You understand that when craving arises, it's going to produce discontentedness, and you need to cut it off and let it go. And one of the things that I teach is how to redirect your mind. And this is one of the ways, if you're meditating, eventually you get to the point where you can internally cut it off inside your mind. But before you get to that point, what I teach students is oftentimes to redirect the mind. So if they're sitting on the sofa watching the news and you feel frustration arising, the best thing you can do is redirect, out for a walk, go out for a bike ride, go get a drink of water. You would like to not allow those conditioned feelings to be formed. And you'd like to break that wiring. You'd like to uncondition the mind. So your granddaughter's mind is wired with these conditioned feelings, just like every other unenlightened being that's ever been born. And you're trying to break that. And you're trying to stop her mind from getting these conditioned feelings. But she's too young and she's not going to have the wisdom of how to do this. But you, being wise and being an adult, you can actually help her. So when you play the music, you know that she's going to enjoy that. So what you would like to do is turn it on, and then you see that she's getting excited or whatever, turn it off right away. And then when you turn it off, redirect her mind right away to cut off any discontentedness that's arising. So you say things like, "Did you see that cloud out there? Oh my goodness, that is such a beautiful cloud." If you have a squirrel outside, "Is that a squirrel? What is that?" Because you're not interested in lying, right? You're not going to lie to her. But you can like take her over to the window, like, "Oh my goodness, did you see that squirrel? That is such a beautiful squirrel." So you like redirect her mind so she doesn't get a chance to arise the discontentedness, that her mind immediately gets rewired. It kind of decouples. And you're going to need to do this multiple times. It's not going to be just one time. So after you take her over to the window and look at the clouds or look at the squirrels or whatever, and you have a happy time, you don't want to get excited. You're not interested in arising this excitement, but you're just like, "What was that? Was that a squirrel? I'm not sure if that was a squirrel or not." Or, "What does that cloud look like?" Even though she doesn't talk now, right? She's probably getting ready to talk, but you just kind of talk to her as if you're having a conversation. And if she's like, blah, 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 "Yeah, I agree with you. That is actually a really good point. That cloud does look like that. You're right. I agree with you," or whatever you say to her. And now when you do that for like 3 minutes, 5 minutes, turn the music back on. And then she's going to get into the music again and then turn it back off again. And then right away, redirect her mind again. Be like, "Would you like some cereal? What would you like to eat? I think grandma should get you some cereal," or something like this, right? You just like redirect her mind. Or, "Did you see your blanket around here? Where's your blanket? I've been looking for that blanket and I don't know where it's at." And you do this like 2, 3, 4 times in one particular day. And the first time you do it, she's going to probably feel a bit uncomfortable and she might hesitate a few times. But then you wait like 2 or 3 days and then you do it again. You do it again. You just keep doing it over and over until she gets to the point where you turn off the music and she doesn't get upset. She doesn't get frustrated. She's just going with the flow and realizing like, okay, the music's on and now it's off. Now it's on, now it's off. And she's just completely fine with it. And this is how you gradually train her to let that. And then you can do the same thing. Like just say you're playing with her and say there's a loud sound outside and you start noticing her facial expressions getting ready to get discontent. Right away, you can redirect her mind. Or say like somebody slams a door accidentally, maybe the wind picks up and slams the door and you see her like jump, and right away you can redirect her mind. Or any other thing, like if she dropped a toy and you see she's getting ready to get discontent or she becomes discontent, you can redirect her mind. And each time you'll see that she'll cut her cravings down and cut her cravings down and cut her cravings down, and she will get less and less discontent all the way through her childhood. I did this with my son. And by the time I started training him with the teachings of the Buddha, it was so straightforward and so easy because he didn't have too many cravings. He didn't have much discontentedness to deal with.
Okay, so it's not about never playing her the music that she likes. It's just cutting it off and then play it again so she gets used to it.
Exactly. You're helping her to see the impermanent nature of this music, that sometimes we're going to listen to it and sometimes it's going to be off. And you can be peaceful, you can be joyful, whether the music's on or whether the music's off. And when we're listening to the music, we'll be joyful, we'll enjoy it. Like, wow, this is really great music. But then when it's off, we're going to go enjoy these clouds and look at these clouds. Wow, aren't they beautiful? That's really amazing. So helping her to let go of the music and showing her how to continue to maintain her joy, whether she's listening to music or whether she's looking at a cloud.
Okay. And so it wouldn't be advisable to get her excited about anything. For example, when my daughter comes for a visit, I pick her up, get her to the window, and I'm like, oh, Auntie Susie is coming. Let's see Auntie Susie. Now as soon as she comes, she's going to the window. Auntie Susie, yeah. She doesn't know how to say Auntie, but Susie. So I made mistake by making her excited about Auntie Susie coming over for a visit. So I should never get her excited about anything.
Well, what's causing her excitement is her craving, desire, attachment, but you created an environment in which she formed a craving in her mind. By you incentivizing that, now her mind has that craving. So that's correct. You're not interested in her getting these conditional excitements. So when people come over to visit, it should just be like, oh, okay, Auntie Susie's here. Hey, welcome, Auntie Susie. Nice to see you. How you doing? Oh, love, hugs, whatever you guys do when you greet each other, right? And you do that stuff and you can enjoy your time together, but you're not looking to promote that excitement and that longing, yearning, like, oh, wow, look who's here. Because then when that person's gone, she's going to miss them, or she's going to be bored or lonely. So if you allow those conditioned pleasant feelings to come in, then the conditioned painful feelings are going to come. One time my wife went to America for 3 months to work, and I was here with my son by ourselves. I think he was about 6 or 7 years old. And when she came back, when she came to the airport, it was like we waited at the airport. Mom showed up. It was like, hey, Mom, love, hugs, whatever. And then it was like, all right, well, what should we go do? You're hungry? You'd like to go get some food? What are you interested in? Would you like to go home, get some sleep? It wasn't this big excitement, even though she was gone for 3 months. We just maintain our calmness and composure. But we love, we hug. Oftentimes we associate excitement with, gosh, I love you so much. I'm so excited to see you. But it's not the love that's causing the excitement. It's the craving, desire, attachment. So you can keep the love, excitement, and just smile. Wow, Aunt Susie's here. This is wonderful. Nice to see you. Oh, we're going to have a great time. Thank you for coming. Whatever you guys say, however you greet each other. But you don't get this big dust ball kicked up of excitement in the house.
Yeah, I'll have to be careful about that.
And you might need to talk to your sister, I think you said your sister, and let her know that you're going to be doing this with your granddaughter, so that when your sister comes over, you let her know that you're going to work on helping her calm down because you made a mistake here. And that when your sister comes over, ask your sister to just be calm. when she comes over to not kick up a bunch of excitement also, and let her know that you're doing this so that your granddaughter doesn't end up in those painful feelings.
Yeah, there is, for example, it's a little bit tricky because I'm sure that my son and his wife do not share this opinion. Like they don't see things that way. And it's their child, you know. So it will be very tricky for me now to find my own place. Like I want to do the right thing. At the same time, I have to be careful not to step on their toes because they are the parents and they don't like anybody interfering too much with their way of parenting, right? But I don't think they perceive excitement as happiness as something good. They don't see that it's cause of craving.
Yeah.
And if they are close to that message, where is my place?
All you can do is when she's with you and she's under your care is you do what you know is wise. And if your son and your daughter-in-law choose to do things differently and that's based on their wisdom, then that's fine. If you're ever at a point where they are sitting down and they would like to talk, or they observe you doing things with the granddaughter and they would like to understand why, then maybe you explain it to them and you help them understand. But if they're not interested in understanding, then you just do what you know is wise when she's under your care and realize that you can only influence and help your granddaughter during the time that she's with you. And when she's doing other things and with other people, she's going to learn from them what they learned from what she learns from them. But as she ages, she will see that when she's with grandma, things are more calm, things are more settled, things are more enjoyable, things are more fulfilling. There's not these high highs and these low lows. That's a good way to explain it to your children, is that if we allow the granddaughter's mind to go up into the highs, then it's going to drop off and she's going to end up experiencing the lows too. So if your children understand and they adopt that same thinking, then okay, you might even let them listen to one of the videos where I've taught the Four Noble Truths. But if they don't adopt it and you're the one who conducts yourself this way with your granddaughter, as she ages, she will know herself, like, wow, when I'm with grandma, things are like so calm and so peaceful and so loving and so kind and warm and all of this. And she'll feel the difference. And when she's with her parents, she'll feel her mind go up into that high and she'll feel her mind go down into the low, and she won't like it. And she'll decide, like, wow, this is the way I would like to be. The way grandma is teaching me, that's the way I would ultimately like to be. But she'll have this influence potentially from her parents if her parents choose not to do things in this way. But there may be a window that your children can see what you're doing. It's probably not something you would like to talk to them about right now, but it's probably something you would like to get underway with your granddaughter so you can see the results and you can see see how much better it is, and then you'll be able to more readily explain it to your children. So it might take you 2, 3, 4, 5 months of doing this with your granddaughter so that you can have the confidence that what you're doing is wise and it's helpful, so that then when your children start asking questions, you'll be more educated, more wise about how to answer those questions. And you will have had the direct experience with your granddaughter to speak from experience with confidence that you know that this is the wise way to do things. But then it's still up to them whether they choose to adopt it or not. And if they don't, that's fine. You'll help your granddaughter when she's with you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I see we have a question coming in here from Sophia. She says, "Hi teacher, I got the flu during last 3 weeks, cough heavily, so I didn't do any meditation and exercises. I find it very difficult to focus and to finish the meditation. Besides, I realized my mind began to crave a lot, envy of colleagues, feel much anxiety about future, mostly about career development, craving for my boyfriend's company. I feel like I have gone back to what I have learned in Chiang Mai. Shame on me." Oh, okay, Sophia, this is normal actually. When you're on the path to enlightenment and you're starting to move in the right direction, you can have these little blips, these little, starts and stops like this. I had plenty of them along the way. Your enlightenment's not going to be determined whether you miss meditation for these 3 weeks or not. Your enlightenment's going to be determined with, now that you've missed these 3 weeks and you see the results, what do you do next? Do you get committed to meditation and you build back up your practice, and now over the next 3 years, 5 years, you continue to meditate? Or do you just become all, encompassed by this and completely walk away and give up on the path? So this is actually part of developing the wisdom, that if you built up your meditation practice for a period of time and then it's dropped off, and you see that your mind was in such a better condition in the past than it is now, there you have the evidence that what you were doing was wise, it was helpful, it was working, and now you just need to build that back up. I think every single person who's ever been on the path probably has experienced this to a certain degree, where there's been starts and stops. And this is part of developing your wisdom, that you see that, yes, when I meditate, my mind is in such a better condition. And when I don't meditate, this is what happens. And that kind of helps you to build your determination, your dedication, and your diligence. It helps you to eliminate complacency. If I was you, I would take note of this. I would build wisdom around this, ask questions like you are, which is great. And then just start meditating again, start reading books again, start attending classes again, and just build up your practice from there. This is part of your journey to confirm in your mind the wisdom that, yes, meditation is indeed leading to an improved condition of mind, and let me stay dedicated to it. So this is normal. And if you need anything from me, like if you'd like to schedule a private session, or you need to have some certain guidance that you'd like to post in the Facebook group, or if you need certain books or resources, feel free to reach out. I will help you. I think you have all of those things. You know how to come into the classes and stuff like that, but just continue to gradually build up your practice back to where it was. You weren't missing meditation for that long of a period. It was only 3 weeks. That's significant enough for you to see the unwholesome results, but it's not so significant that you're going to have real big issues. I actually missed meditation one time for 3 years and got back into it. And boy, was it challenging to get back into it. So you can do it with just 3 weeks and build back up your practice again. You're very welcome, Sophia. Pleased to help you. See, I'm going to check all the other platforms and see if we have any questions. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions anywhere. Maybe I just saw one come in. Nope, that was something else. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions anywhere. So I will just thank all of you guys for joining for today's class, and invite you to return for class either on Sunday, Wednesdays, or Saturdays. Those are our normal classes. We do those on Sunday, Wednesday, and Saturday morning, 9 a.m., as well as 9 p.m. Thai time. You can tune in to the live stream at any time, or you can come to the temple here in Chiang Mai and attend classes live. We also have some various courses and retreats that are coming up in January. If you're not aware of those, you're welcome to look online. All of our classes, courses, and retreats that we teach at the temple, I'm now using Zoom, that you can dial in to Zoom and participate in any of those classes. And there's some that I'm going to be live streaming as well, particularly in January. There's 2 courses and retreats that I'm going to be live streaming, and students can come in through Zoom. But any of the classes, courses, and retreats that you see in Zoom, or you see on our website, you can now log in through Zoom and participate in those classes. And this Sunday, I'm going to be in chapter 13 of the book, which is titled Identifying Cravings, Analysis of the Mind, so that you can develop the mind by being introspective and understanding how to put together plans to almost surgically go in and eliminate certain cravings. So I'm going to teach you how to identify your cravings, and then how to put together in order to go in and surgically remove some of your cravings. So thank you all for joining. You're welcome to join any of these future classes. Perhaps I'll see you then. In the meantime, have a very wonderful and lovely rest of your day. We'll see you next time. Sawadee krap. Thank you again for watching. Enjoy your meditation. Look forward to seeing you online and answering any questions that you might have. Thank you so much.